Thank you. Let's move on to the next question in the name of Assemblymember Bacon. Honesty in politics.
Thank you, Chair. Honesty is important in politics. I think we should all be incredibly concerned by the direction of political debate in our country. We recently held a state visit for President Trump, a man who is known for deliberately and repeatedly lying to the public and then declaring fake news every time he's confronted with the facts. Sadly, it appears that some politicians in Britain are now trying to copy these methods, including key frontrunners to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and therefore Prime Minister of our country. This is extremely worrying, as it risks eroding even further the level of public trust in our national politics. There's no doubt that the biggest lies and mistruths told to the British public in recent years was during the EU referendum campaign in 2016. From the lie that if we leave the EU, the NHS would get £350 million more per week, to the misleading statement that Turkey would join the EU. These falsehoods and many others were repeatedly voiced by Boris Johnson, Michael Gove, and other senior members of the Conservative Party, and I'm sure all Assembly members would agree that this was both wrong and deeply irresponsible. I'm pleased that at City Hall we're taking a different approach, delivering change for our city whilst being honest with Londoners. We said we'd make tackling air pollution and climate change a key priority, and we're now taking the boldest action of any city in the world. This includes the introduction of the world-leading ultra-low emission zone this year and declaring a climate emergency in London. We said to Londoners that it would be impossible to solve the housing crisis overnight, but we're now laying the foundations to fix the mess we inherited. This includes starting to build more council homes last year than in any year since 1984, giving residents and tenants the right to vote on estate regeneration plans, and doubling our homelessness outreach teams. We said we'd make transport more affordable for the needs of Londoners, and we've made sure that TfL fares have been frozen for the third year running, and we've introduced the unlimited hopper bus fare. And we said we'd implement a long-term public health approach to tackle violent crime, and that's exactly what we're doing with England's first violence reduction unit, the £45 million Young Londoners Fund, which is creating new opportunities for young Londoners to fulfil their potential, and a City Hall funded violent crime task force. I could go on, but I want to give this a chance to respond.
Assemblymember Bacon.
Thank you, Chair. That was a good attempt at guessing where I was going to go with my supplementary, Mr Mayor, but you weren't quite on the right track. On the 2nd of June, you gave an interview to Niall Patterson at Sky News, and he asked you, to what extent then is it a matter of personal regret to you that London is less safe than when you took the job? And you responded, oh, it's not less safe, that's the first thing, and then you talked about the various things that you were doing. So I thought, well, that's interesting. So I had a look at the Metropolitan Police's statistics. And in 2015-16, for example, there were 21,361 robberies recorded. Last year, there were 35,216, which is an increase of 65%. In that light, Mr Mayor, do you think the state in London is not less safe than when you took over was an honest thing to say?
I do, and you do? Pick it.
That's extraordinary.
I'm very happy to have a discussion on what the definition of robbery is, actually.
Okay.
But it depends which metrics you use to measure safety. You measure the metrics, Chair, in relation to...
Okay, well, let's give you another one then, Mr Mayor.
Well, hold on, Chair.
No. Have you finished your answer to the question?
I haven't, Chair. I haven't. We all want to be Jeremy Paxman, but let me answer the question.
Right.
And so it depends which metrics you use to measure safetiness. It could be robbery.
Metropolitan Police statistics, Mr Mayor, that are published
No,
and available
have you
online.
finished the answer, Mr Mayor?
And so I'm quite clear that as far as London's concerned, we are a safe city. Of course I'm concerned about any incident of personal injury to a Londoner. We're doing what we can, though, to keep our city safe.
Okay. So another statistic for you then, which is a Metropolitan Police statistic. In 2015-16, there were 9,704 recorded knife crimes, and last year there were 15,003, which is an increase of 55%. Do you think that stating that London is not less safe than when you took over was an honest thing to say?
I think we are safer. I think I'll give you one example where you can measure success in relation to the progress we're making to deal with terrorism. We're making big progress there. So in relation to homicides, in relation to under 25s who are injured by knife crime. So it depends which metrics you use. I mean, we can go around in circles here in relation to, there are some metrics where we're doing less well than before I became mayor. Some metrics we're doing better. It's also the context nationally and internationally. So, for example, you could look at what's happening.
Okay, right.
I'm not asking about national crime,
yes.
I'm asking about crime in London for which the Mayor is responsible for dealing with. So, another statistic, Mr Mayor, in 15-16 there were 1,804 gun crimes according to the Metropolitan Police. Last year there were 2,342, which is an increase of 30%. So again, do you think that saying that London is not less safe now than when you took over was an honest thing to say?
I do.
You do. So gun crime is up, robbery is up, knife crime is up, rape is up, taking motor vehicle offences is up, residential burglary is up, knife crime with injury is up, knife crime with injury and robbery is up, and you think, honestly, that London is more safe now than when you took over as Mayor of London.
I do.
That's absolutely extraordinary. Thank you very much.